Crime and Punishment, written by Fyodor Dostojewskis. Foreword. I want to do an unprecedented and eccentric thing, to write 30 printed sheets, 480 printed pages, within the space of 4 months, forming 2 separate novels, of which I will write one in the morning and the other in the evening, and to finish them by a fixed deadline. Do you know, my dear Anna Vassilievna, that even now such eccentric and extraordinary things utterly delight me. I simply don't fit into the category of staid and conventional people. In this typically ebullient fashion, Dostoevsky described to a friend the predicament he found himself in during the summer of 1866. He was then 45, and had behind him 10 years of imprisonment and exile for anti-government activities, the death of his first wife and of his closest brother Mikhail, and debts amounting to some 43,000 rubles. A year earlier he had gone abroad to escape his creditors with 175 rubles in his pocket and an agreement with an unscrupulous bookseller, F. T. Stelovsky, to produce a new novel for him by November 1, 1866, failing which, and Stelovsky hoped he would fail, all his existing and future works would become the bookseller's property. Fortunately, Dostoevsky managed to bring off this unprecedented thing, though not quite in the way he envisaged. Work on one novel, which had been appearing serially in the Russian Herald since January 1866, continued to preoccupy him into the fall, and meanwhile not a word of the book for Stelovsky got written. Finally, on the advice of friends, he hired a stenographer, the young Anna Grigorievna Snikin, who soon became his second wife. The Gambler, dictated to her in October, was handed to the bookseller on time, and in November he went on to finish the longer, serialized work, Crime and Punishment, the first of the 5 great novels that crowned Dostoevsky's artistic labors during the final 15 years of his life. The attempts of critics and literary scholars to define, or simply account for, what they have found in these novels may remind one of the Hindu parable of the blind men describing an elephant, each by feeling a different part, a snake, a hogweed, a tree, a broom, a wall. Dostoevsky's own summaries in his letters and notebooks tend to be dry, schematic, and therefore misleading, because no novels are less dry or schematic than these. Furthermore, he was always ready to revise his plans when new material, discovered in the process of writing, demanded it. Thus he wrote to his friend Baron Vrangel, in December 1865, that the story he had been working on for several months, the first version of Crime and Punishment, had grown into a big novel, in 6 parts. I had much of it written and ready by the end of November. Burned it all. Now I can confess it. I wasn't pleased with it myself. I'm working day and night, and for all that I'm not working very much. A novel is a work of poetry. In order to write it, one must have tranquility of spirit and of impression. A novel, at least a Dostoevsky novel, is a work of poetry that is, a simultaneous composition on multiple planes.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?